What's up, everybody? This is Tarynthehype podcast with a new Tarynthehype episode.
What's up, everybody? This is Tarynthehype podcast with a new Tarynthehype.
Well, why is it feedbacking so much?
Anyway.
Wow, that really sucks.
That was really bad.
Well, what's up, everybody, guys? This is Taryn with Tarynthehype podcast. I am joined by my partner in crime, Matt Marquez.
What's up, everybody out there in Ustreamland?
Hey, you didn't say catchphrase.
I tried something new for you. Don't expect it next time.
Awesome, guys. Well, guys, we're back some more. We're going to talk about E3 and all the things that happened with Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo conference. It was amazing. All the other things that are going on outside. And remember, you can follow us on Tarynthehype. Hashtag or at Tarynthehype on Twitter. Or on Facebook. You can follow me, Taryn, at Augie272. That's AUGIE272. Or you can follow Matt at
KrillinFlip337. That's with the CRILLINFLIP 337.
Alright, guys, so remember, join us on the website. That's where all the fun stuff's at, where you can see all of our new things that we've been adding to the website. We are still getting started with the video podcast. This is still fairly new for us, hence the hand microphone and not a standing microphone, but we're still making do. Check out the podcast, they're live, but let's jump right into it. E3, what do you think so far?
Holy shitballs. If I could sum up E3 2013 as it stands so far, it has been, with the exception of the consoles, that's obviously the biggest news, but with the amount of games that have been announced as being in development, this has been like the year of fan service. You've got Star Wars Battlefront finally acknowledged that it's in development, and I'm fucking psyched about that. You've got Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out. You have, now I can't remember. But there are so many games. Killer Instinct is back in kind of a bastardized version. But still, it's back. There's so many games that have been announced that fans have been dying and asking and pleading developers for years now that are finally going to see the light of day. And I think that's awesome that people in the industry are listening to the people again and giving us what we want. Oh, Mirror's Edge 2. Another one that really, from a money standpoint, there's no reason a Mirror's Edge 2 should have been produced. But it was such a good game, and the people who liked that game loved that game and evangelized it to death that it needed a sequel. So I'm super excited that this year has been one of the biggest, just from the announced games that are going to be coming out. And like I said, it is the fan service E3 if there ever was one.
Right, I totally agree with you. There have been some amazing announcements. And I'm going to quote something that was said off of Twitter from NVIDIA. One of the employees from NVIDIA said about this year's conference is, it's been nothing but good news. And I really feel that way. I think that Microsoft and Sony, no matter what they've been delivering, 90% of it's been good news. There are very few things. But let's go ahead and jump right into what could be negative and what could be positive regarding the consoles themselves.
All right.
Let's start off with Microsoft.
Okay, that works.
Or do you want to start with PS4?
I was going to say let's start with Nintendo since they're kind of, well, no, they're not
Let's
really.
get those guys out of the way so we can talk about the real
All right,
generation.
let's talk about the consoles. Fair enough.
So the Wii U. When's that coming out?
They did a soft launch, that's all. They're going to really launch it.
So what I heard is that the Wii U, the U stands for beta. Because that thing sucks. I'm just kidding.
Wii U beta movie.
Alright, so they've made some decent announcements. They've made the new Wind Waker HD.
Yeah, that looks really good. They cleaned up the graphics. They've actually tweaked the gameplay so it doesn't take you as long to run around or sail around the world. So that's cool. They're trying something new. They're kind of pulling something out of Sony's playbook of re-releasing an HD version of one of their previous games. I can't think of any instances where Nintendo has done that recently. So if I'm missing something, I apologize. But I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. It sets kind of a dangerous precedent for Nintendo since they basically recycle their 5 or 6 properties every couple of years. If they're going to start re-releasing updated versions of older games, that's just going to be kind of clogging the system for a long time coming. But
right, but what they is they have to release Miyamoto out of his cage so that they can start producing games again. They have him with all of his genius. He really is their one-trick pony where he just they keep reiterating on the same thing, but sooner or later that's going to get tiring. But it's proven time and time again that it hasn't. That we still go after the same tricks, we still go after the same information. All they have to do is announce the title, Metroid, Mario Brothers, Zelda.
I'll buy it.
And it'll be bought. Like that's all there is to it. It's just like Call of Duty. You don't need to tell us what the game is going to be about. You don't need to tell us what the updates will be. You don't need to tell us where it'll be after the story. You say Call of Duty, people are going to go buy it. So I mean, that's where we're at now.
That's a good point, comparing them to kind of Call of Duty, where it's like everyone's like, oh, it's the same thing as last time, and they just keep shoveling it out. It's not a big update. Or you could say the same thing about sports games every year, where they just keep releasing it, but they do that because they sell every single time. So obviously it's a cash cow, and they're not going to stop because they're making the money. So there's no reason for them to stop. And to Nintendo's credit, I mean, every time they release a Mario game, a Zelda game, a Metroid game, there is a new story, there's new gameplay mechanics, there's always something new that's innovative about the series, but just the fact that it's the same series over and over and over with the same archetype and overarching policies, whatever. I mean, that's the part that kind of bugs me. So, sorry about that. But I mean, yeah, the other big things from Nintendo were the new Smash Brothers was shown, and from everything that it looks really good. It looks like another Smash Brothers. Some of the new characters are kind of okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure about how they feel about incorporating the Wii Fit trainer into as a character. It was kind of funny, like introducing mocap as a playable character in Mortal Kombat, but still, guys, like that's more comic relief than actual character. But it kind of suits the mood because that's what Super Smash Bros. Is. It's not a serious game, and neither is anything that Nintendo does. It's all for fun and to get a rise out of.
True. I felt kind of the same way about releasing the Animal Crossing character as a playable character. That's a cool nod to another one of their big series, but just kind of a weird choice with everyone that they could have picked. Obviously, the big bombshell that they released, the Blue Bomber, Mega Man, going to be playable in Smash Brothers, that's really nice.
I'm actually really excited about that because I think he's going to suit fit in great. He is going to kind of be able to have. I'm excited to see what his skill set is going to be because thinking about Mega Man, he's a lot kind of like Metroid. Like he has a power up, he shoots out a blast. I mean, he's more acrobatic because he does a lot of jumping. So I mean, I want to see the difference between them as playable characters. I'm assuming Metroid is going to be a little bit faster, have more of a move set because of the weapons that she carries.
Yeah, and Mega Man's he's acrobatic like you said, but he's not exactly known for his speed and how quickly he attacks. He's more of a powerhouse.
So that's why I'm wondering if they're going to try to make it more known where Metroid is a fast character with a lot of weapons. But the weapon set's going to be different from Mega Man, more robotic and more balanced all-around character.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. As always, you could never count Nintendo out of the race because they can make games like nobody's business. Mario Kart is going to be coming out, so it'll be interesting. I think Nintendo is in a better position now after all the other consoles are released, just because of some of the bad publicity surrounding the conference. So I would not count them out by any means. And even my own personal opinion that I kind of feel like I could see myself buying a Wii U more than I could see myself buying an Xbox One, as opposed to this last time when I bought an Xbox and I bought a PS3.
Right, and I totally agree. No, I'm not so much buying the Wii U itself, but I mean
No, but eventually I will definitely be picking it up, but I'd be picking up sooner than later.
And it's kind of the same thing for me. One of the main reasons I bought a Wii was because I wanted to play Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
I wanted to see what all the fuss was about because it was a very popular item when it first released, with all the motion controls. But the real reason besides Wii Play and Wii Sports was to play Smash Brothers. I didn't really have any other reason besides that. Zelda was kind of cool. I mean, I was hoping they would come out with a Metro game, but I never played them. I never could get them. So Smash Brothers was pretty much my go-to game.
We played Strikers. What about Mario Strikers?
Strikers was Smash Brothers with soccer.
But it was a good time.
Yes, it was. It was a lot of good times. We actually did a pretty good ranking online. But moving on. What else did you like that Nintendo did? Speedrun, come on.
I can't think of anything. That was the biggest one. I mean, that was the big heavy hitters that they were pumping out for this year. So I don't
they were a lot like Squaresoft saying, "Hey guys, we're still here. Please be excited
Please
for
be excited.
E3.
Please be excited.
Please be excited. I'll give you $1 if you pretend to be excited.
I will say though that to Square's credit, I was fairly excited from their announcements. I mean, we were pretty into
Kingdom
playing. Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that one. But we were pretty into playing Final Fantasy XI back on the PS2 days, and it was a good time. But there was obviously gameplay issues that I didn't prefer for playing an MMO. Taryn, I know we kind of fell out of playing that after a while. It's hanging in there, but
I hung on as long as I could.
I've been interested in looking into Final Fantasy XIV, and knowing that it's going to be coming to the next-gen consoles, I think that's actually a pretty good sign of just the different kind of content that's going to be coming to this next system. That they're basically treating them as PCs that are more specialized. So I think that's going to be very interesting to see just all the new types of gameplay that console gamers aren't used to, the free-to-play models, the MMOs, and more than just the action adventures and the shooters genres. So I think that'll be pretty cool.
Well, I remember the Nintendo's not down and out yet because they still want to incorporate a lot of the titles that are coming soon they're going to be released soon. Now, they are going to be having some titles that are going to be on the next generation consoles, but so far they're announcing a lot of titles that are going to be fairly new and exciting releases for the current generation. So, I mean, that's something to be excited for if you already have a console with the Wii U. I mean, that way we can have the best of both worlds, have the fun interaction side as well as the more hardcore modern side. But moving on from Nintendo, we only have like a few minutes to spare, guys. We're going to go ahead and speed run through this E3 conference.
What? We're moved on. We were talking about Square Enix.
Well, no, I'm just saying it.
Damn it. All I gotta say is Kingdom Hearts 3.
Touch.
Beautiful. Cannot wait. So long in the making. And it's one of those games that it kind of like Duke Nukem, you just never thought it was actually going to come out in your lifetime.
Well, I mean, after Kingdom Hearts 2, I kind of got to get my interest peaked again. Kingdom Hearts 2 was good. It wasn't as good as the first one, but I mean, they set the bar so high for themselves. Kingdom Hearts 1 was just amazing. Kingdom Hearts 2, it kind of was a bit of the same thing. So it was exactly what we wanted. We wanted more of the same thing. We wanted more. I mean, we also wanted another iteration besides just 1 and 2.
The story became so heavy with 2, like it was a good amount, but then after that, with all the offshoots that they did, all the portable games and everything, it kind of dropped the lore so that there was way more than there really needed to be, and it became very difficult to kind of get into and kind of keep up with in a way. Like I still was trying to play through them and buying them and everything, but there was just something about knowing that it was side stories and not the main canon, what's going on, that I kind of lost interest. And now that seeing that Kingdom Hearts 3 is finally coming, I am really excited, and I'm actually going to be playing through the first and second Kingdom Hearts just so I can kind of get caught up.
Yeah, we played through the first Kingdom Hearts together. That was a lot of fun. Now, did you already discuss Final Fantasy?
Just talking about 14, I didn't get to 15.
Just history. Now, the one thing I'm worried about with Final Fantasy, going back to it a little bit, backstepping, is that they're really trying to reach out to that population is really not there anymore. They're reaching out to a group of people, reaching out to MMO players who used to be subscription-based. That's not what it is anymore. What it is people want fast content. They want a game that moves fast, not as much as Final Fantasy does. Final Fantasy focuses on animations and beauty of the game, opposed to actually giving you the best gameplay design. Now, they do have great iterations, don't get me wrong. They make things different, like I never saw that viewpoint before. They do create their own worlds that are beautiful and amazing. You're not sure what you're going to get out of the world. It's just that I'm worried that they're kind of stuck in their own world with these MMOs.
The thing that excites me about it is they've had Final Fantasy XIV on the PC for quite a while now. It was supposed to come to PS3 quite a while ago, but it never actually came because there was a lot of issues that players were having with the PC, so they stopped kind of doing the production to focus on the PC and fix it. And what they recently did was they actually relaunch, or they're going to be relaunching the entire world, as they're basically calling it A Realm Reborn, where they're overhauling like almost all the mechanics in the game. They're refocusing the actual story and gameplay of it. So I think that while they're, like you said, they might be kind of stuck with in the past as far as what they're trying to cater to, I think that they are making strides towards trying to future-proof themselves and try to keep up with the times and what gamers would expect from them. On that same note, I don't feel as good about Final Fantasy 15. It used to be Final Fantasy 13 Versus, which was going to be a PlayStation exclusive, which just kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed, and everyone just assumed probably that it wasn't even going to be coming out.
Yeah, you guys skip a digit there.
So they went from being a side shoot from 13, and now it's an own new title, Final Fantasy 15. So I don't know. All the stuff that they showed looked great, just like Square stuff always does. But I don't know if the gameplay is going to be there.
Yeah, we haven't seen. That's the thing is that we haven't seen gameplay yet. If Square's going to do one thing, they're going to try to impress you with their fancy looks and their cutscenes. But I mean, that's not what gamers are about nowadays. I mean, cutscenes are awesome. We love seeing it, gets us excited. But we want to play a game. We don't want to watch a movie. Nowadays, we want beauty in the gameplay, and we want awesome mechanics. I mean, look at games like that Square game. It was on PSN. It's on Steam as well. Thomas Was Alone.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of squares, and it's doing amazing in scores and amazing in reviews. We don't need these graphics anymore. Yes, they're great, and they do a great job with them. Square Enix is amazing at that. But we want to see what the gameplay is to see if we're going to like this game or not. We want to see that to just make a decision.
Another culprit who is kind of a big fan of having very flashy graphics and making you watch more of the game than you play sometimes.
Segue.
Kojima, that was a good segue too. But Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
5?
5. Finally got to see quite a bit of gameplay. They actually released like a 9-minute trailer for the game, which looks
it's longer than that.
fantastic. No, it's like an extended.
No, I watched it multiple
it's
times.
9. I watched it. There's like a 9-minute. I think there might be a 12-minute, but it is fantastic. And
that's the thing. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. And being a huge Metal Gear Solid fan, I love the series.
Outside of them recasting David Hayter as Big Boss, what do you have other issues besides that, or is that your problem?
No, I was even thinking about that. Besides that, I'm just worried about I love open worlds. Everything's becoming open world now. Grand Theft Auto, but I mean, this is a stealth game that was originally created because you were stuck in an area and had to find a way out. Now, with an open world game, especially with a little bit of the Wild West scene that we're seeing, out in the desert, you're not really stuck in an area. You have to get yourself stuck before you have to find a way out.
It's more of infiltration as opposed to being stuck in a place. You got to figure out the stealthiest way to get in. So
right,
it's kind of a reverse of what it used to be.
So I want to see how they're going to play with it, and how they're actually going to what they're going to make you have to do as a player. Are they going to force you into these situations, or are they going to just kind of hope you get into them on your own by causing trouble? I mean, if you do want to climb the mountain, you go around, and I'm worried that's going to happen with this game, because I really want to play another great Metal Gear Solid game. They've all been great in my eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, even the old MSX ones. They've all been amazing. I almost have every one in my collection. But I'm really worried about it, but I'm also really excited about it. It looks great. And I am upset about David Hayter.
Yeah. I mean, it is really weird. It does take you out of the experience having heard David Hayter's voice for so long. Yeah, with Jack Bauer, and it's kind of like...
Bring me a hacksaw.
As soon as you
We're out of time.
As soon as you hear it, you know it's not him, and it sounds weird. But I don't know. At the same time, it kind of makes sense replacing the voice. Because he's getting older, he needs to sound a little bit different. At the end of 4, spoilers, Big Boss was there, and he was a separate voice. He wasn't David Hayter voicing him. He was a separate voice that sounded distinctly different than the David Hayter voice that we have known for years and years.
Right, I completely understand. Now, but fuck it. Why don't we just go all the way? Go big or go home. Why don't we just have Donald Sutherland be the voice of Snake then? That was a bad joke. But yeah, I mean, what I thought they were going to do for Mint was I thought they were going to replace David Hayter for Big Boss, but they were actually going to still have him as Snake in case they were going to have Solid Snake and Big Boss in the game. I don't know if that's going to happen. We don't know yet, but
timeline-wise, from what I'm hearing, basically the time frame that this takes place in, Solid and Liquid would be about 3 years old for the timeline where this game is actually taking place. So we probably won't see any overlap of the two.
If we know Kojima, we know his games. He does flashbacks.
True. I mean, there's definitely no counting Kojima out of trying to do anything. Obviously, since he had such a huge secret viral marketing almost on this game for almost a year, where they were playing it off like, oh, it's not even a Metal Gear game, it's something totally different by this company that doesn't exist, except mean, he's the master of manipulating the situation and keeping secrets. So who knows? For all we know, David Ayer could have secretly recorded all of Snake's lines, and they just have Kiefer Sutherland as another character in the game, and they just kind of have them play it off and trying to build up more hype later on. I mean, you never know with Kojima what he's trying to do. So I don't know. I'm really excited and looking forward to it. The gameplay looks awesome. The open world to me is kind of exciting because I like trying to figure out the best way to get into something. Where like stealth games where they start you on the outside and you have to work your way in. I thought that worked really well for like the Splinter Cell style games.
Yeah.
So okay, well I think we covered some of the big major games. Let's spend a little bit of time on the two consoles. What do you think?
No, we have more games to talk about.
Dude, we gotta wrap them up quick. Go.
All right, well let's wrap them up quick. All right, first off, you got the next Assassin's Creed, which is also known as Watch Dogs.
Okay. Wrapping them up two at a time.
Alright, so Assassin's Creed is coming out with a new game, Assassin's Creed 4, focused around pirates. Everyone's kind of seen it. We're kind of waiting for a new thing. We're hoping this is going to be it, but we don't know because it's going to be on a pirate ship. Now, we'll see how that works out. You don't really have a lot of climbing and jumping to do on a pirate ship. We'll find out.
Yeah.
There's more to be said. Speedrun, like we said.
Okay, fair enough.
It looks good, like all of the previous games do. Now, by the same company, and kind of inspired by as well, we have Watch Dogs.
It looks fucking awesome.
It looks like it's definitely going to be one of my first picks for the next generation of consoles.
Agreed. Yeah, I would definitely be picking that up as soon as possible. I mean, it follows kind of the same free roaming around the city, kind of one-man vigilante trying to take down the man, as it were. But it looks awesome. The gameplay, everything we've seen looks beautiful. It's hard to believe that they're going to try to squish this game onto current-gen systems.
Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of worried about.
Sad to see what it'll look like, but I think it was intentionally developed to scale so that way the next-gen systems can take advantage of all the hardware and everything. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's been getting so much good press that I really hope that it delivers and the gameplay actually shines through for more than just like the 5 to 10 minute demos that everyone's been able to play at this point in time.
Yep, I agree. That's the one thing I'm worried about the game is making sure it delivers on what it promises. Then moving on from there, we have multiple other things. We have the next Killzone, which is actually a PlayStation 4 exclusive, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Made by Guerrilla Games.
Yep. They have made all the previous. Now, one thing about this one is that they're trying to mix it up a little bit. They're trying to have a new color palette. They're trying to make it not feel so dead because they're not on Helgen anymore. They're on a new planet,
Right.
which has both the Helgen and the human on it.
Yeah, it takes place like 30 years after the events of Killzone 3, I think. So there's basically like a truce going on, and of course the Helgen break it because
from what I'm hearing,
they're bad guys.
It's one planet, but imagine the planet is like split in two by a giant wall. Now, when you're having airships 30 years before the wall's built, I'm pretty sure people might step over the boundaries of that wall. So we're going to find out what the boundaries are in that game. Killzone Shadowfall is going to come out with the next generation of consoles. It's going to be good. It's also going to look beautiful because they don't make games that don't look beautiful.
They don't.
Really good job. Now, there are two new racing games I want to discuss with you. We have Drive Club as well as the Need for Speed Rivals. Both of these are being very ambitious games. They're both trying something different as well as both kind of similar, same thing. And then what that has to do with is online challenging.
I mean, they're similar in that they obviously both feature racing in cars. And try to focus on, racing with your friends. But I think Drive Club is kind of going for that niche that Forza and Gran Turismo kind of try to market on with the simulation style of gameplay as opposed to the little more floaty arcade feel that Need for Speed or like the Burnout series has gone for in years past. So I think it'll be interesting to see how gamers kind of gravitate towards one or the other. It'll be interesting to see how Drive Club does, because that's from the team that at the beginning of PS3's life cycle was working on the MotorStorm games, where it's really good racing cars and stuff, but just kind of like that post-apocalyptic grungy look as opposed to the photorealistic game that we're seeing today. So I think it'll be interesting, and the one kind of thing you can hope towards Drive Club in that is they announced that PlayStation Plus, the service, will be carrying over to PlayStation 4, and the first PlayStation 4 game that you'll be able to get through the Plus service will be Drive Club. Whether it's like a watered-down version or not is hard to say. Yeah, but they are going to be releasing that as the first game available on the system.
Now, have you heard any news about when that will be? When they're going to release this, start releasing PS4 games free?
I believe as soon as the system launches, within a month or so. I don't think they've announced any dates specifically for anything PlayStation related.
So if I'm thinking about educating guests, I want to say they'll probably start giving away free games again for PlayStation 4, more closer to January. That way they can get the holiday season out of the way without giving away anything for free.
Yeah.
But they also might want to use that as an incentive too, so it's risky.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, in the end, it's a Sony-owned property, so they're only going to be losing money for themselves. It's not like they're asking one of the third-party publishers to lose money based on, giving it away through PlayStation Plus. So, I don't know, it'll be very interesting. And like you said, I think they might time it out till after the holidays before they start releasing free games.
well, the reason holidays were so ambitious was because one thing that caught my attention is how much they're using the compatibility with multiplayer. Now, at Drive Club, you're really racing against challenges with your friends. You're making your own clubs. You're seeing what your club can do. You're kind of like representing. This is our club. This is how good we are. You make everyone else beat your challenges, and so on and so forth. It builds up on a community. Now, Rivals, you have the same thing, but it's not really challenge focused. You're actually playing against your other players. They could be, you're playing single player or you're playing multiplayer, they're going to be in your game. Now, the one thing I'm worried about is if that's only with people on your friends list, or if that's actually with anybody who's playing the game. Where in your region, in your area, randomly selected, how many people are actually going to be in your game? What's the limit there, and what are the boundaries? Another thing that's really interesting about Rivals is that you can actually play with it with your iPad.
Really?
Have you heard about that?
No, I hadn't.
Yeah, what it is like you can, when you're being chased by people, someone on their iPad, they won't be able to play the game per se, of course, but they can actually see like chases that are going on, and if they're a cop, they can send out backups to certain locations of the map and control kind of like the cop force of the AI.
So it kind of has some like similarities to Watch Dogs, which is allowing other
Right.
players to kind of interact with you in your game, but not in a direct way per se.
Right.
Interesting.
It's a very kind of asynchronous way of going about playing while not playing as well, kind of like with Dust 514.
Yeah.
Now, moving on a little bit more, we have. Sorry, I'm blacking out a little bit here. Wait, what's the game that's on your mind? Give me your most wanted game from both consoles, or your most top 3 games.
As far as games that are announced coming out relatively soon,
Next
as opposed
next
to
generation.
in development,
Next generation.
just next generation in general, or ones that are in development coming out soon.
Next generation launch.
At launch, okay.
Or launch window, I'll say.
Okay, fair enough. Probably no particular order, just because I don't know how I would rate these at the moment. But Watch Dogs is definitely on the list of must-buys as soon as the system launches. Man, probably Killzone is very high on there. I don't know. That might be maybe top 5. I don't know if that's top 3. But Metal Gear Solid is definitely very high on that list. And I don't know. I kind of struggle for a third one per se. But I mean, launch window. If we're going to include the window, if we stretch it out to Q1, Infamous looks fantastic.
Yeah, you're pretty close to my same top 3 too. That's pretty close to my top 3 too. I mean, Infamous is gonna be amazing. I love new experiences, and that's what I want to see with Infamous. I want to make sure they deliver, but the story's always been so good. That's the thing about Sucker Punch is that they just deliver on all angles. They don't have just one, not just a one-stop shop, one trick pony. They have their art covered, they have their mechanics covered, and they have their story covered. And not to mention that the gameplay is fun. I mean, it's a full package.
Yeah, they develop interesting characters that live in a very realistic feeling world, and you can move around in the world very organically and actually enjoy yourself while you're trying to traverse this large city. So yeah, very, very excited for that studio, and I think that game is going to be awesome.
Alright guys, well we're actually going to wrap this up for right now, and we're going to move on to the consoles in the next episode. This is so we can have a video on YouTube. We got to make it a little bit shorter. It has to be under 30 minutes, which is bullshit, but you will see soon, coming soon. Remember, you can reach us at Tarynthehype.com, which is at Tarynthehype on Twitter, Augie272 on Twitter for me, and
Krillin Flip 337.
Exactly, guys. So come and join our podcast. We're going to be doing more live podcasts in the future. We're going to be kicking the show off pretty soon right now for the constant conversation, as well as some more conversation about bullshit. Tune in to find out. Click, click.